Hi everybody, TJ Mac Vintage Cards here, and today I'm doing an episode here that was inspired by Brian of Bear Cards 34, who had asked that I consider doing an honorable mention for my 30 card case build, where I only picked if I could keep 30 cards, if I had to sell my collection, and these would be the only 30 cards I would keep. Those would be the ones that would go in the case to be displayed. So I did have a lot of other cards that I considered, but I included today for this video 9 honorable mentions, and I'm going to explain to you, where they would have fit in the case had I included them. So let's just slide over here. I don't want to show them all off. First is the 1952 Bowman Larry Doby, and this is just a great looking card here with the photo that's airbrushed over. Depicting Larry Doby, who certainly everybody knows was the first black player in the American League after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. And this would have been in my father-in-law's favorites case where I had the Cleveland Quartet because he played for the Indians. This was a player that my father-in-law really liked, Larry Doby. But again, I only could keep 30 cards, so this one did not make the cut. But you can just see here, just a great image. You gotta love that Cleveland uniform and cap. Just shows really, really well. And nice facsimile autograph there of Mr. Doby. The next couple cards would have been in the Artistic Beauty episode. First being this great looking card here, a 50 Bowman of Yogi Berra. He's got the catcher's equipment on there, getting ready to throw a ball over. I like the background there. The trees and everything. You can see his mask on the ground there. Pinstripes of the Yankee uniform. Got the Yankee emblem peeking out from underneath his chest protector. Just a beautiful, beautiful image. And those look like they're actually like players in the background here. It's a very, very small card, so it's kind of hard to see all the imagery on it. But just a mini work of art there, Mr. Berra. And then this next one, I really strongly considered putting in because I used the Sammy Baugh, but this one could have easily replaced the Sammy Baugh because where the Sammy Baugh kind of showed the rigors of playing football in the 1950s, this card really captures the pride. Look at this John Henry Johnson rookie here. And I just love how he's putting his helmet on and he's got that nice smile on his face, and just look at the white glow around him. And it's just like a picture of, I'm proud to be a football player, proud to be playing for the 49ers. Just a great image that captures really a fabulous fullback for that time. It says halfback here, but later became a fullback when the Pittsburgh Steelers, and actually it was the Detroit Lions first, realized what a good blocker this guy was as well as a runner. And then he later went on to the Steelers, and he was really a late bloomer type player. Had a couple 1,000-yard seasons with the Steelers. Was a Hall of Famer. Jim Brown called him the greatest running back that he ever saw. Had a combination of speed and power. He could run as fast as Joe the Jet and the King Hugh McElhenney, but he also could pop through those lines inside, outside the tackles. Just a fabulous, fabulous player for that era. And he also played defense as well, and I believe he was a linebacker and a safety. And he in one game, Charlie Trippi, who was a Hall of Fame running back with the Chicago Cardinals, he hit him so hard that he fractured parts of bones in his face. So this is just a tough, tough dude for the time, and I just love the imagery here of him. So then I'm sliding down over here for the icons. This is a shout out to my buddy Brian, Bears Card 34. Poor Walter didn't make the cut, but it's hard to make the cut in a 30-card case. It's certainly no knock against Walter Payton. It's, I guess, sometimes my tendency to prefer cards from the 60s and 50s. But Walter Payton is one of my favorite guys to watch growing up. Everybody knows he wasn't the type that ever ran out of bounds. He would take all comers on and just use his sweep moves as well as his power to take his yards as needed. So just a great running back, which I think is a real nice example of his rookie card, and certainly one that just missed the cut for my case. Next here is the 69 Topps Nolan Ryan. This was a gift from my wife as well years ago, And my favorite card of his, I like his 70 tops too, but this one's my favorite. Just a very young Nolan Ryan. Has his whole career ahead of him here. A nice image of, I think, Shea Stadium in the background. And I like that Mets emblem on his arm. And it goes nice with the name in the circle there. So just a great image to look at, and he would be an icon as well. I mean, this guy, the no-hitters, the strikeout record, beating up Robin Ventura, and just, you know, the way he carried himself, he was certainly an icon for baseball in the 70s and 80s, even into the early 90s. So definitely would have been a guy, if I had room, I would have threw in there. And then this card we've seen, you know, a few times, because I just picked this one up and it's in my other video for my case build. Oops, sorry, a piece of turf there. This is great Bobby Hull, and what's really great about him is I consider him an icon of the 60s. He just missed the cut over Gordie Howe and Gretzky, but he was a guy that really loved his fans, probably more than most players I've ever read about. He would just sit and sign autograph after autograph, and he always said that, you know, when he met Gordie Howe as a kid, he was not disappointed with the way Gordie Howe treated him. And he said that, you know, you need heroes and you need people to look up to, and I'm not going to be the guy that, you know, wouldn't take care of a fan if he came up to me. And that, you know, really resonated with me when I heard that interview, that you have this guy that's just an all-world athlete, and he understands the importance of heroes. When you meet somebody for the first time, you know, the impression that you make on them. So he was certainly a guy that I would include in my icons case if I had the room. And then the last few down here, for my own personal favorites, I have the Dandy Don Meredith rookie, 1961 Flair. Along with Bob Lilly, he was really the first star of the Cowboys. They had some serious growing pains. This guy got, as I said in my video when I profiled my 69 Topps football set, got his butt kicked a lot of games. He was a great leader. Really butted heads with Tom Landry quite a bit just because his personality was a lot different than Coach Landry's. But he was a leader on the field, a tough guy, knew how to have fun. I used to love him on Monday Night Football, and just a guy that I love to read about and learn about. And not a Hall of Famer, but if he would have played longer, I think he would have been, because he really got the Cowboys to turn that corner. And I know they lost those couple games to the Packers for the championship games in the NFL, but he was just one of those guys that really brought the Cowboys to prominence within the NFL. So certainly a guy I would recognize. And then here is the 89 Topps update, Troy Aikman. I have the 89 score, but I like this one better because he's got the helmet on and in Cowboys uniform fully versus just a headshot. So I like this one, and he was the guy that really brought me back after they fired Tom Landry, because I didn't want to like the Cowboys anymore. And when they drafted Troy Aikman and I saw him play, you know, I slowly started getting back into the team again as a kid, or actually a teenager at the time. And then I started following them more closely again and really watched Aikman's career blossom. And he's kind of one of those guys that you either think he's overrated or underrated, depending on how you look at it. People who don't like the Cowboys tend to think he's overrated, but I can tell you right now, he was a guy that played within what the team needed to do. He could have put up some big numbers. He was a very gifted quarterback, but he knew he had that great offensive line, and he had this guy right here, who would be my other inclusion, potentially Emmitt Smith. So he used them accordingly, and he just played within himself in order to win those games and get those Cowboys teams to Super Bowls. So he was a great leader. And, the players would tell you that this guy was the leader of the team at the time. And here's Emmitt Smith, again, one of the toughest running backs I ever saw. That championship game, the title game for the division title against the Giants when he separated his shoulder. I believe it was in 92 or 93. I can't remember quite the year. But he had like 10 or 11 catches for 100 yards. He had 100 yards rushing, and the guy's playing with a separated shoulder. He was one of the toughest runners you'd ever see. Certainly wasn't a highlight film like Barry Sanders was, but he performed at a very high level for a very long time, Emmitt Smith. And he did have a great offensive line, but he was a great runner and a tough runner, and really had that nose for the end zone. So he was a guy that I always had a lot of admiration and respect for as well. So there's my 9. I'll keep this under 10 minutes. And these were the almost included cards into my 30 case. Everybody have a great day.